finally get to meet the new Sixers.
This morning, the team introduced newly acquired forwards Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton at the team's training complex in Camden. The Sixers sent Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, and a 2022 second-round pick to Minnesota as part of the deal. Butler, a four-time All-Star, says only one thing matters to him.
Like, I already got enough money to have me and my family set for the rest of my life. Like, it's not about the money. I got to be able to love where I'm at and have a great chance to win the championship. I think, for me, that's what it's about. I think this city is going to be absolutely amazing from the things that I've heard.
Butler is expected to make his Sixers debut tomorrow night in Orlando. Sports director Don Bell will have more on the new Sixers this afternoon on Eyewitness News starting at 4.
Jimmy Butler.
Justin Patton to the Sixers.
Sixers got Justin Patton.
Hey, don't forget about Jared Bayless. He went to
Justin Patton to
Exactly.
the Sixers.
So welcome in.
High hopes in that kid. He has a lot of
Yeah,
talent.
I mean, they traded a haul for him. So, views from the sideline, November 13th, 2018. A lot of stuff happened while we've been off the air. The Jimmy Butler deal finally went down. He ended up not going to Miami. Ohio State played MSU. Michigan rolling. Lions bury them. I mean, they've been buried, but Pistons start to bury them maybe.
It's just 12 games.
I know, it's just 12 games. I'm just messing around, but I got to feed Joe's ego when it comes to that.
You guys called it over after the Jets game with the Lions, so.
And I have been
I
right.
didn't call it over.
I know. I'm just saying.
I've
Some
been right.
people.
I was that's the worst debut of a coach
That
maybe
was
ever.
awful.
So comparatively to the Pistons being 12 games in, the Lions being 1 game in, they're about the same.
The
I
Lions
would
aren't.
disagree
The
with
Lions
that.
aren't at 500.
I would disagree with that. I don't
Lions
know.
aren't at 500.
I'm saying after 1 game, the Lions being 0-1 is very similar to the Pistons being 12 games in and being 6-6.
I disagree with that.
The feeling is so
It's
different.
It's not
I
like
don't think so.
if the
The
Pistons,
Pistons haven't looked abysmal
if
yet.
the Pistons were 3-9, I'd agree with you.
The Pistons haven't just given up and
They've
looked
had-
like they didn't
yeah.
want to play football.
A lot of
That
their
first
losses
game
have been
looked like
close.
they just didn't want to play.
Yeah.
To each their own.
That was horrible, man.
But yeah, and then we also are going to talk some Carmelo Anthony, which that's a crazy story in the NBA. I mean, I didn't expect it this
It's
early.
a story.
I didn't expect it. You're going to tell me you expected Melo to get waived.
I think it's hilarious.
I do too, but I did not expect
Melo
it
was
completely.
just scrambling, trying to find a championship.
People are acting like it's Melo's fault that the Rockets are playing bad.
No,
I don't agree with
He's
that.
a
It's not
scapegoat.
Melo's
He's a
fault.
scapegoat.
It's not Melo's fault. I just don't think he doesn't have what he used to have anymore.
That's true.
I don't know how much he can help a team now.
But I feel like he's shown some good signs this season so far. He's
Yeah.
just been very inconsistent.
He's here or here.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of guys like that. Look at the Rockets have PJ Tucker on their team that
Carmelo
plays
Anthony has
37
higher
minutes a game
expectations.
that doesn't do
PJ
anything
Tucker
for
doesn't
his
have the same
team but play
expectations as
defense.
Carmelo
Pistons have
Anthony.
Stanley Johnson playing 30 minutes a game. I mean, that says it all
There
right
are
there.
expectations on Carmelo, even at this point in his career.
All right, we'll get into that a little bit later. But I do want to start one of the biggest games of the weekend, Ohio State playing MSU. Some thought MSU would give a little bit of a challenge. That wasn't really the case. 26-6. I mean, they challenged a little bit in the first half, but then
They
the
got beat
Buckeyes
by a
pulled away.
punter.
Yeah.
Michigan State got beat
Yeah.
by a punter.
I mean-
I don't think I've seen that many times in my life where a team is literally just taken out completely.
To be fair, I feel like that's the storyline for MSU this year. Just like weird stuff happening and just
Weird stuff and just bad stuff put
yeah,
together
yeah.
into a season that is pretty forgettable.
LJ Scott coming back another year.
That's just more frustration for MSU fans.
10-year running back.
Next year, he's
That's
going to
crazy.
rush for a good 500 yards.
He
Connor Hayward is going to look better, and people are still going to be like, what happened to LJ?
they qualified him to redshirt because of his injury, so then he can return next season.
It's going to be his 5th year, right?
Which is insane to me. It literally
I'm pretty
feels
sure
like 10.
I'm
but
pretty sure this is his senior year, official 4 years.
yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
That's insane.
But yeah, for me, it feels like I've seen him around for 100 years, but I won't believe in him next year. Every year I've given him a chance, and it's not working out.
His freshman year was the best he looked.
Something about him,
He had that promise about him.
you can't figure it out.
But
Joe,
what-
you I said LJ had some promise to him in his first year. Joe, anything stick out for you? Is it what you expected? Ohio State beating up on MSU?
I don't know. Like, I had some faith in Michigan State going into this game because they'd played pretty well
And OSU's been struggling
in
a little
previous
bit.
weeks, and like you said, in the first half, Michigan State looked pretty good. I thought they were going to be able to kind of hold Ohio State down, and it just didn't happen. With the talented receiver core, I feel like Lewerke's kind of struggled this season. I don't know if it's just because the whole team has struggled this season.
If he's hurt, don't play him.
That he hasn't looked as good. So it's just been kind of a roundabout rough year for the Spartans. But
They don't have the offense to make it work. When they keep getting put inside the 10, they don't have the offense to make it past that. They fumbled. Did they fumble? Yeah, they fumbled twice.
I think so.
When they were put in that position, one of them was a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's
just little
bad.
weird mistakes. So this was like their last chance, I would say, to do something big and get into a pretty nice bowl game. But now that's not going to really happen. So it's basically just on to next year.
Yeah.
At this point.
I was going to say, do you guys see the Spartans coming back next year, bouncing back significantly or maybe leveling?
Significantly, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure I
Because
see that
I
improvement.
feel like that coaching staff is going to stay the same. Everybody thought this was the year they contended. They brought almost their
Did they?
whole offense back. They brought
I know a lot of people, some people were really high on, I feel like it was a
a
mixed
lot
bag.
of people.
Were high on MSU?
A lot of people were higher on Michigan State than Michigan.
Really?
Yeah,
I never heard any of that.
I know there were some
I
people
heard
that
people
were
that-
really high on MSU, and then there was others that were really down on them. It was not really very much in the middle. It was either you're really high on this team or you're really down on this team.
I don't see how people were any bit high on them. I mean, yeah, the offense looked like it should have been good, but their defense has been trending downward. So that was like my biggest factor of not saying MSU is not like, perhaps maybe not the real deal, but I thought they could contend just because, MSU has played so well in recent memory. But
and I think people, Mark D'Antonio, they put more trust in him than
Yeah.
most coaches in the country.
yeah,
Yeah.
So with the team, with as much as they had coming back, people just expected a 9 or 10 win season.
he's one of those
Especially,
coaches
yeah.
that can do a lot with
He gets
a
the
little.
most. Yeah, he
I
gets the
feel
most
like
out of his
he's
players.
gotten to the point where he starts to get that Izzo effect to him, where, oh, D'Antonio's here. He's got a good crew coming in. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And
I
think he'll
actually
do well.
almost compare him more to John Beeline than I do Tom
Really?
Izzo. Yeah.
why is that?
Because I feel like Beeline's that kind of guy that
I
like
do too.
is really good at just picking out specific players for the way that he likes to run
Mhm.
a team. And I think that's similar to how D'Antonio works, where he has a specific system that he likes to keep to, and he gets players that he knows will work in that system and maybe have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, Izzo, yes, technically that's how he works a lot too, but just like thinking recent memory, like we've talked about in past shows, that Izzo's gotten a little bit bigger talent levels recently.
He's tried to adjust to the one and done era.
Yeah,
kind
he's
of.
had a lot more bigger names come to MSU, so that's a little bit different. So that's just where I draw the comparison more of like
Yeah.
a Beeline kind
No,
of team.
Yeah, I get that completely. Yeah, so I think this has been like a running segment on the show. Miss MSU loses. How are they going to improve next year? Do you have faith? It's always the same thing. Not really. We'll see. It's just kind of.
I think they'll bounce back next year. I think they'll be
what's
pretty
bouncing
good,
back to you though?
doing better than this year.
But if it's a one-game improvement, is that a bounce? Do you consider that?
I
a
think
bounce
for
back?
college football, yeah. I think if you have like a meaningful win, like if you beat an Ohio State or something like that, that's a bounce back.
Moving on, Michigan, nothing new here. Continue to roll, continue to win games they need to and should win. 42-7 over Rutgers. And they got Indiana this week, which you've said, kind of a trap game. Don't overlook this team.
Yeah, this Indiana is a team they've looked like a good Big Ten team at times, and they've looked like a bad Big Ten team.
So I was going to say, I mean,
the inconsistency has been what's killed Indiana and why they're 5-5 right now. So it really depends on what Indiana team shows up. I expect Michigan should win the game. They're probably going to win the game.
do you think it'll be
'Cause
closer than 42-7 like they've kind of been putting on teams lately?
I could see a 35-14 game, but honestly, I could also see a 52-7 game because of how inconsistent Indiana is. So you never know what you're going to get with them. The Michigan defense is still rolling. Offense is as comfortable as they've been all season. Shea Patterson had a really good game last week against Rutgers. Didn't take many hits. Was really efficient.
O-line looked good too,
Yeah.
which is huge, especially getting ready for Ohio State and college football playoff. Can't believe we're going to say that,
So
but
yeah, it's going to be an emotional night, senior night.
yeah.
A lot of guys are going to be hyped up. So should be a game Michigan handles.
Definitely.
And they already know if they beat Ohio State, they already know who they're going to play in the Big Ten championship. Northwestern's on the
Yeah.
other side, and they're the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
That whole side of the Big Ten is just not so good.
So once you get out of here,
So it's like once you get Ohio State, not to take Northwestern for granted, but then if you beat Ohio State, you should have the confidence going into that Northwestern Big Ten championship that you should be looking at the playoffs.
yeah. Joe, do you have any worries when it comes to Michigan going into Indiana this weekend and then OSU and then the Big Ten championship game? Is there anything that you've seen recently that kind of worries you a bit about the team?
Not really. It's more of like how I kept saying, it's all about mentality. As long as they keep going into it every game, knowing that they have to win these games, they can't let up on a lower tier Indiana team, or even, like I said, the Big Ten championship in Northwestern. You don't want to take any games for granted. You want to take it one game at a time, treat every game like it's your last. And as long as they have the mentality, I think they'll be fine.
I've seen something that could I don't think it could trip them up, but it could bring them problems.
What's that?
Rutgers busted an 80-yard touchdown run last year. And in their first few drives, they kind of got what they wanted a few times in the first few quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because they got really creative. They were a team that had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So trick plays, really creative formations. They caught Michigan sleeping a whole bunch of times. If a team can catch Michigan slipping, which I don't think they really will, because Michigan won't be sleeping against Ohio State.
No.
So, it's just a small thing, but Michigan should be fine. Of course, they could be caught sleeping a few times, but overall, throughout a whole game, that defense is too athletic, fast, and aggressive.
And I had doubts. I mean, I've said on the show, I had doubts about Michigan's defense, if it could be consistent throughout the year. They've shown me, I mean, week in, week out, this is the best defense in the nation. Let's move on, though. Let's talk some pro football while we still can. Joey, just confidence meter me here real quick. The Lions. You were talking a lot of smack about the Chicago Bears heading into the year, too. They roughed them up. 34-22. Bears over Detroit Lions. Season unofficially over. Lions 3 games behind the Chicago Bears and the NFC North. Joe.
I don't know why you have so much fun with this segment.
I mean, you had so much excitement when they went on that early win streak after they bounced back, and you were so happy. It's just...
So you just like to see me be depressed and down?
I mean, it's a Detroit sports city. It's just what it is. That's what we are.
Yeah, you should root for it
Yeah,
sometime.
not root for it. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, Joe, what's the confidence check here? I mean, you got anything?
It's over.
It's officially over.
Yep.
0%.
It's 0%.
Not even
Bring the
0.1.
alarm.
Not even
No.
0.1.
It's
officially
over.
done.
There's too much to overcome. Even I think statistically at this point, it's almost impossible.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
No, you love it.
That was perfect.
Now that it's actually over, it's not that disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was rough. This game was really, really, really
They
rough.
didn't have it.
It was this is like the third straight game where it's just looked bad all around. And
Now, I missed the first half. Were they down 26-0 to start
Yeah.
the game too?
yeah.
Man.
So they had to make a little comeback, and they looked like they were going to, and then they just kind of fell flat. But I don't know. Like, I've always been a Stafford defender, and this year, I know a lot of people have said it, but this year is really hard to be a Stafford defender.
He hasn't had the best year.
It's been a rough year for him, and I don't know what's necessarily up, if it's
We haven't heard it's an injury or anything.
right, and it doesn't look like it's an injury. I think it's just a mental thing maybe this year. But I really think they need to look at getting rid of Jim Bob Cooter.
They should have looked at getting rid of Jim Bob Cooter last year.
I know. And we've said it multiple times, I think before, but just their play calling doesn't really seem to make sense.
It
at
looks
times.
different from
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's maybe they're trying to do too many new things with the running game and stuff like that. It's just not working, and I don't know.
I feel like with Jim Bob Cooter, it's way too simple of a offensive game plan, or it's just way too complicated and you're trying to do way too much. He can't find that middle ground.
right.
And of all the assistant coaches and coordinators to keep, why Patricia chose to keep Jim Bob Cooter, I will never know.
Right.
To me, he must have had a great interview, just a great sit-down conversation. Because it didn't warrant it bringing him back. It is extremely disappointing. I didn't expect them to be a playoff team. But the way they go out and play these games is just, there's no inspiration in them. They don't have that mentality like you talked about. Michigan has that mentality going into every game. The Lions don't.
I think that's the worst part.
There's
Yeah.
no
in the play calling and the way they play, it just looks like there's no energy whatsoever.
They just look defeated
yeah.
when they go down.
Yeah.
And that's really rough. And then the other thing I was thinking about too is that even if they like tank the rest of this year, which they won't necessarily tank, but I don't think they'll win too many more games.
They should tank.
They have some winnable games at the end of the season, but even if they end up really low and they have a good first round pick, there's so many holes now at this point that I don't know where this team goes because their defense is having issues. They've drafted offensive linemen for the past 10 years. It feels like it's back to when they were always drafting wide receivers. Now lately they've been drafting a lot of O linemen,
Shout out Ebron.
and
Ebron's
none of
not a
them
wide
are
receiver.
working.
But it has been a need. Unlike the
Right? No, it's definitely
Yeah.
been a need. So I get your
they just
point.
haven't.
It makes more
yeah.
sense, but
They just struck out on a lot
Yeah.
of guys.
yeah. So I don't know where you go. Like, do you try to go for another offensive lineman, or do you go for a defensive guy like a linebacker? It's hard to say what
To me,
is the first priority.
I feel like let's fast forward to the end of the season. Lions finish with 5 wins. If I'm Bob Quinn, I'm blowing this thing up. Trade Stafford,
That's exactly what I was
get
gonna
some
say. Yeah.
assets,
It's time
then
to
go
rebuild.
from there and develop a game plan for the draft. And to me, I would do this as fast as possible. Give yourself as much time in the off season, get a game plan together, get an idea together.
The scary
You gotta
part
start
about
from
that,
scratch.
scary part about that is that as soon as Stafford goes to another team, he's gonna just light it
It's
up.
just how it is.
probably.
But you have to live with that as a
But-
Lions fan because if he stays here, you're still not going to get anything
Right.
out
I'm
of it.
curious.
So,
I mean, I would definitely look into what you could get for him.
you're not there yet, though.
But it's hard to
You
say.
could probably get a lot from Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I'm sure
There
there
are so many teams that would take
For-
him right
for-
now.
I'm sure there are a lot of teams, but there's also teams that might be skeptical about the contract.
I feel
Yeah.
like it comes down to how the season shakes out. Is there a team that makes a big push, get in the playoffs, has maybe a good game in the playoffs, good first round, but they lack that quarterback, that
Yeah.
star quarterback?
They're
They'll
gonna
give up a lot.
be a few teams that are in that position.
The Jaguars.
I was just gonna say that. I mean, I feel like it's inevitable.
They're like that team.
That's that. Yeah. I
It
mean,
would, it would have
it
to
would
depend on what
prob-
we could get back for
Yeah.
it.
It would probably work much more if that contract didn't happen. But it's the most Lions thing
What
for him to have that type of contract
know,
to make a trade even
I
harder.
haven't paid attention. I don't pay attention to a lot of college football outside of Michigan, Michigan State. What are like big name quarterbacks that are coming up in this draft?
This draft isn't
It's not as
extremely
deep quarterbacks
no,
as
it's
like
not
last year.
It's not a deep quarterback draft at all.
See, that's the other problem.
but there's the thing too. I mean, I understand that, but also,
Because then what you trade?
but listen, but you never know how these prospects are going to turn out. Yeah, it's
Right,
not a
yeah.
deep draft, okay, but if
But
you
do
hit
you
on
wanna-
if you hit on the right guy,
but
if
do
you
you
find
wanna-
your guy,
But do you want to get rid of your franchise quarterback
yes,
and then take a very big risk on an unknown quarterback
I
in the
don't think-
draft? Whereas maybe you wait like another year when there's maybe a little bit more of a talent pool to go get a quarterback.
to me,
It's hard to say. That's all I'm saying.
no, I understand that, and the more I think about it, I kind of tend to agree with you a little bit, but this team is so dry, man. There's Stafford's time here is done. Let's move on.
I don't think it's done. But
I know, but
I think you should definitely. I'm at the point where I would look into it. Just because
it has to be done.
Because it seems
really,
similar
to me.
It seems very similar to the Pistons in where the fact that they're like just dried up of assets at this point, and they need to figure out a way to get assets back, where they have to make a Blake Griffin type of deal to just like stay afloat,
Or a John Wall type of deal.
So if the Lions could just blow it up, I don't need the Lions to stay afloat at this point. I'd rather them, if they're gonna blow it up, to really.
That's
just
why I
blow it
kind of
up.
like that Golden Tate deal too. Quinn.
Yeah, I didn't mind that deal.
Quinn realized this team's not going to do anything if they barely even get into the playoffs. Might as well get some assets out of it.
We've seen the golden age of the Lions. Time to blow it up.
It'll be another 10 years till we see.
They
another
almost
playoff
won a
game.
playoff game. What more can you want?
They should have won that playoff game.
Exactly. That was a really good team.
Let's move on to something a little bit more positive. Man, talking about Detroit sports sometimes be a Debbie Downer. Let's talk some NFL. Some NFL picks. Big week for Joe.
Not a huge positive for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to it though.
Positive for one of us.
Joey Tysick coming through with 9 correct picks last week, above Malik and I with 6. Joey he ties Malik for first place at 62, and I'm just sinking. It is just a downward spiral.
I'll never trust the Bengals ever.
If
ever.
Guys,
I laughed really hard at that game. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
That was awful.
and Tennessee Titans too.
'Cause
We all picked the Patriots. in that
Very
one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I texted you guys earlier this week, and like, I've been picking the Titans in a lot of these games, and I was close, but I was like, I can't see them beating the Patriots after they failed me the week before, and then of course they come and win.
And then I picked Seattle too last week, and they were close to knocking off the Rams. And that's the second time that I've picked a team to knock off the Rams, and the Rams come back last minute and get it done. Let's start out though. It's actually a really good Thursday night football game this week. The Green Bay Packers at the Seattle Seahawks. Joey,
I don't know if that's a really good game.
I like that. I think that's a good game for Thursday night football. Thursday night football is not usually the best of matchups.
I don't think the Packers are in a good spot right now.
I mean, to me,
I really don't think
They won
are.
last week.
They did, but still.
As an NFL fan, when I see the Packers are on TV, I usually tune in. Just NFC
Gotta watch
North.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Anyways, Joe, Green Bay at Seattle. What you got?
Seattle. Being in Seattle.
Malik?
Seattle.
I guess I'll go Green Bay. I got to start making up some points somehow.
I have a feeling Green Bay is going to win it.
Carolina at Joey's Detroit Lions. Joe, is this the week you pick against the Lions?
Yeah.
What?
The Panthers. I'm
Panthers.
picking the Panthers because Christian McCaffrey looked really good last week, and Panthers lost last week, right?
They got destroyed
Yeah,
by
they
the
got wrecked.
Steelers.
And
yeah.
I can't see the Lions being able to contain Christian McCaffrey.
You guys are both picking Carolina? Give me the Lions in this one.
Yes. Baited him.
You know what? I haven't picked the Lions all year.
That was the whole plan. I go against him. Chris picks him.
I'm going to laugh if the Lions actually win.
Watch them win it. Watch them win this game.
It would be a Lions win.
Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens.
You picking the Bengals, Malik?
Give me the Ravens.
Oh, Cincinnati, man. Ravens.
I'm going to go against my gut, and I'm going to pick the Bengals. Because I always pick the Ravens. Going Bengals.
AJ Green's out again.
Bengals.
All right.
Tyler Boyd's look good.
Tennessee at Indianapolis. Give me the Titans. They looked really good last week.
Eric Ebron is balling.
I know. We had 2 touchdowns last week.
3.
3.
He had
Three
3 in the
touchdowns
first
last
half.
week?
I missed the third one. I saw
Eric
2.
Ebron,
I saw 2, and I was like, no.
Oh, my.
he is balling in Indianapolis.
That's what I said. When Stafford leaves, 50 touchdown year.
You
I'm
said
going
Colts
in-
and who?
Titans at Indianapolis.
Titans.
I'm going the Colts. Oh, this is going to be a big swing week for me or Malik.
Dallas Cowboys at the Atlanta Falcons. Did not like what the Falcons did last week. I'm going Cowboys.
I don't trust the Falcons or the Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Oh, boy.
Do it, Joe.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
That means the Falcons win this week.
Possibly.
Tampa Bay at the New York Giants. Fitzmagic, Joe? Fitzmagic?
This is a
Man.
bad game.
He's
I'm
been
going
throwing,
Giants this week.
He's
This
been
is a
throwing like
bad
400 yards a game, but like no touchdowns and a couple
Like 4
interceptions.
picks. Yeah.
It's been rough.
Yeah,
He throws a 1 or 2, but still like 3 or 4 interceptions.
Yeah, it's been sad.
I'm rolling with the Giants this week.
Tampa Bay
Odell
looked good.
Beckham, he got 2 touchdown catches last night. Oh,
Yeah. You going Giants too?
yeah, I'm going
Alright.
Giants.
Joseph. Fitzmagic.
Who's
Fitzmagic,
gonna throw more
it's,
picks?
It's just Fitz now. There's no magic.
Who's gonna throw more picks in this game?
Probably Fitzmagic. Yeah.
Oh,
Tampa Bay's defense doesn't scare anybody.
that's true.
Bueller.
Let's go Tampa Bay. Big swing week. I'm trying to take the lead.
I do not have a good feeling about this
It's
week.
gonna be a rough week.
I really don't.
Somebody's gonna have a rough week.
Exactly.
Tech-
Rougher than usual.
Texans at the Redskins. I like
This
the
one's a
Reds-
tough game.
I like the Redskins this year. I mean, I'm
The
taking
Redskins, I don't think they're a really good team.
They've
They just
won-
keep figuring out.
They've won
I
their
think
last.
they're a really good average team.
They've won their last
really
3
good
or 4.
average team.
What, they won their last 3 or 4 games with Alex Smith throwing under 200 yards.
That's what, they just keep winning somehow.
That's the most Alex
AP.
Smith thing
Weird.
to do.
All day.
He hasn't done a whole lot. They've just been squeezing by.
They just Texans. I don't think Adrian Peterson has a big day this week.
Yeah, I'm going with the Texans too. I think they're a good enough team.
Steelers at Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh.
This is a tough one for me.
Listen,
I don't
man,
know about
The
this
Steelers are rolling right.
They're rolling.
They're rolling.
They surprised me last week,
one. And Jacksonville is struggling.
but they got Fournette back and he looked good.
This is a tough one. I might have to listen to you guys first.
Big Ben in that receiving core, and James Conner.
Yeah, James Conner has been
Yeah, I'm going to
Crazy.
go with the Steelers. I think they're rolling pretty good right now.
Steelers.
So you're going with the Steelers?
I gotta go Steelers. I can't pick Jacksonville in good faith. I gotta at least get one correct pick. Broncos at the Chargers. I'm going Chargers. Chargers look
Chargers,
really
yeah.
good this year.
Yeah, Chargers.
And then we got the Raiders at the Cardinals.
Wow.
Give me Josh Rosen.
Chosen.
Cardinals.
I'm gonna go Cardinals too. I'm not picking the Raiders anymore this year.
I'm going with the Raiders. Don't know why. Probably lose.
And then we got the Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. That's a nice one.
Wow, Saints.
Saints.
Well,
the Eagles don't have
Saints.
No, but Philly's hype.
Write down the Saints.
Not in New Orleans.
But
Chris.
Philly's got that buzz about them.
Write
they
down.
don't.
They got the buzz. Jimmy Butler's in Philly.
Write
but They're
down-
just happy
The
about
Eagles
it.
do not have what they had last year.
Write down the Saints, Chris. Don't do that.
Maybe
to
they can
yourself.
get it back next year, but not this
If
year.
it was in Philly, I'd pick the Eagles.
The Saints
Losing
are
to Dallas at home, that was a bad loss to me.
the Saints are making an argument to be the best team in the NFL right now.
I'm taking the Saints.
Good.
Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. This
Wow,
is
this is a big week.
Give me the Bears.
yeah, I'm
the
going
NFC.
Bears too.
This is horrible to say as a Lions fan, but I really like the Chicago.
I agree with you.
I love
They're-
watching the
Yeah, they're
Bears.
fun to watch.
I like that young talent. I like that defense.
Trubisky is always streaky.
That's
too.
how you build a team.
You
right
like
there.
watching Cody Parkey miss 3 field goals?
It's part of
Who
the
cares about the
entertainment.
kicker?
Yeah.
That's
As
like
long
the
as you get
Lions.
the win.
That's like the Lions' best thing is they
Matt
scare
Prater?
kickers.
Matt Prater is really good. He might be our best player right now.
Mason Crosby missed 4 field goals. Cody Parkey missed 3. I mean, the Lions got something going for them. I'm gonna go with the
Doesn't-
Bears as well.
We do have a lot of different.
Yeah, on the back end.
Yeah, but we have
Did you,
five.
do those go by time when you write those up? So like all those are the 1 o'clock games.
Usually. Yeah,
So-
except for it.
So the 1
Detroit.
o'clock games are gonna be all the crazy ones.
Yeah, because then
After that, we agree on a lot.
we have 5 games that we all agree on one.
Wow.
And then we have the Chiefs at the Rams. This is a good game.
This is the game of the year. Seems like
Do the Rams lose another one?
Chiefs.
You're going Chiefs on the road in LA?
You think the Rams are going 15-1?
I'm not sure if
Do
I'm
you
picking
think the
against them
Rams
at
are going
home.
15-1? You that confident?
I'm very
I'm
confident.
I think
Scared
the
of-
Chiefs have a better chance at going 15-1 than the Rams.
This game is
Come
crazy.
on. You do?
Yeah.
Really?
The Chiefs,
That's a bold statement.
I don't know what it is about the Chiefs. They just
Got
They're
that
more
swagger.
exciting.
Yeah. I think they have
Swagger.
a swagger.
They're more exciting to watch.
Are you going Chiefs too, Joe? I know Joe's going to go Rams just to get a different one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Rams. Todd Gurley's on the fantasy team, so I gotta root for him.
Pat Mahomes and Jared Goff are going to make some ridiculous throws.
I was going to pick Kansas City. Then Joe reminded me I have Gurley on my fantasy team as well. Let's go Rams.
Fantasy first.
Got to. That's it for our NFL picks this week. We'll see how far down I am next week. Maybe 20. It'll be a rough one.
I think
but-
either me or Malik is gonna be way ahead of one or the other.
Well, yeah, that's probably how it's going to turn out. But yeah, now let's kind of transition to the basketball court. Jimmy Butler headed to Philly. Trade details. Philadelphia receives Jimmy Butler and Joey's guy, Justin Patton.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota
Solid.
received Robert Covington, Dario Saric, Jared Bayless, who I'm not sure if he's going to get waived or not. Still
I would think
pending.
so.
And then unprotected 2022 second-round pick.
I hate when those are included in deals.
What? What? Those are valuable.
A
If they're
2022
unprotected.
You said second round,
2022 is only 3 years away, man.
and it was a second round pick.
Yeah.
Man, get that.
Yeah, what?
2022
Get that
second
weak
That'll be
stuff
like
out of
the-
here.
That'll be like the 60th pick overall.
Exactly.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna
have
pick
the best record in the
No,
NBA.
They're gonna
in
pick
I'm
20
just
some
saying
dude
it'll be
from-
on the back half.
some
of it.
dude from Serbia or some 7'3" dude.
Some dude from
Yeah.
Argentina named Manu Ginobili.
I don't
Come
think
on,
so.
come on. There's
So-
always those draft
It's a really
sleepers.
bold claim.
There's always
Let's-
draft
let's
sleepers.
move
You
on to
can't
Jimmy,
count out
man.
these
Let's
picks.
move on to Jimmy.
I want grade the trade. 4 Minnesota and 4 Philadelphia. I'll hit you with mine first. For Philly, I give them an A. They gave up Covington and Saric. They gave up some wing depth there, but they get a stud who there's all the intentions of re-signing him this summer. To pair him next to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I'm not including Markelle Fultz. He is done to me. I don't
You
think
see that free throw last night?
he's going backwards fast. Fast.
He's not a bust yet.
And for
Not yet.
Minnesota, I give them a C- because they had a way better deal on the table when it came to Miami with the Josh Richardson deal, and they blundered that. They could have had 4 first-round picks, which I know Tibbs wasn't going to do because he's going to be gone after this year. He's going to get fired. And I knew Scott Layden wouldn't do it as well. That was a better deal than this one. Yes, you got 2 nice players in Covington and Saric, but that's not enough value for what you gave up.
And a 2022 second round pick.
And remember this, though. How you acquired Jimmy Butler, you gave up the rights to Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine, who Zach LaVine is averaging almost 28 points per game right
he is
now.
Chicago's offense.
He is. And the ACL looks fine. I was worried about that.
Yeah.
That dude's got some spring. He needs to be back in the dunk contest this year. Put Zach, Vince
He's
Carter.
done. He had his years. He's done now.
who?
Zach. I
You think
he's
he's
done with
done?
the dunk contest.
Oh,
In
with
the
the dunk
dunk-
contest.
in
I
the
thought you were talking
dunk.
about in
Oh,
his
no. With the
career.
dunk contest.
I was like, I think he's just starting. But I got an A for Philly, C- for Minnesota. Joe?
I don't know. I feel like it's actually a pretty even deal. I get what you're saying that like Minnesota giving up the other deals kind of like hurts them, which I can understand that. But I don't know. Like it's a good deal for both sides. I think Philly ends up winning because, like you said, they didn't have to give up as much as maybe a Miami would have. But Minnesota's getting some solid pieces. Like Dario Saric is really good.
Covington
3&D
has been
kind of
inconsistent,
deal.
but he's
But I'm-
still a really good.
And like
three-point
that's what
shooter.
Minnesota is lacking is 3-point shooters.
But I wonder if Saric and Covington are a system type player because there's a certain type of system Philly played. It was a lot of ball movement and a lot of catch and shoots
I
for
think-
guys for Robert and Dario.
I
Yeah,
think
what were you gonna
Covington is, but Dario,
say? Yeah,
he went and got his buckets a lot too. I think
for sure.
I think he's more than just a system player. So
Okay, but
yeah.
yeah, I think Covington might just. Be a
I
system
feel like
player.
Minnesota and Philly play similarly. I don't think they like do a really good job of spacing the floor, but having those players that naturally space the floor, they can use. I mean, you're gonna have guys like Andrew Wiggins, Derrick Rose going to the basket a lot, Karl Anthony Towns posting up, so that's gonna draw a lot of attention. And then you can have Saric and Covington sit out on the perimeter shooting threes.
Did I miss your grades?
I didn't really put a grade, I guess.
he said they were even.
Yeah, I said they were pretty even, but I would give it to the Sixers. So maybe like an A for the Sixers and a B for the Timberwolves.
Malik?
Sixers going into the season, I was unsure about how far away they were to contending and when they could contend. This puts them in the seat to challenge Boston and
Toronto.
possibly challenge, not beat Golden State in the finals.
They're a
'Cause
top 3 team
Yeah, I
in the
know.
East.
Come on.
In the East.
in the East,
Toronto, Boston, and Philly.
it's them three.
Who am I missing?
The Bucks are right.
Bucks.
There.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Bucks could.
I'm not
fight
sure if I
for
put
it.
my head in Milwaukee right now.
I'm putting them ahead of Milwaukee.
I know you are. You are not a fan of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's not that I'm not a fan.
They're 10-3.
They're a really
showing up, Malik.
They're a really good regular season team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They might finish with 60, 61
They're
wins.
not going to win. If they win 60 games, I'm all in on the Milwaukee Bucks. But
Teams look different in the playoffs. A
a lot of
aren't-
teams
listen,
are different in the
a
playoffs.
lot of
this
teams
year.
aren't built for the push.
I think Boston is a team that's built for the
Trailblazers.
push. I think
There are 4 teams, 4 teams that are built for the push.
if there's one team that's built for the push,
I
I,
don't
feel
think
like in the
Milwaukee
East,
isn't there. Philadelphia just put themselves ahead
I don't
of
agree.
Milwaukee for me for that playoff push.
I think Boston is built for the playoffs. They went through that going through LeBron and that whole 7-game series in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Jimmy Butler has been there. He knows exactly, especially in the
True
East.
too.
Jimmy's been there.
But I'm worried about their perimeter shooting from the wing spots and how shallow they may be now. I mean, it all changes if they do something else at the deadline, add a couple guys that all changes it. But right now, I'm just a little bit worried when it comes to their depth issues.
I think it depends on Wilson Chandler and how he recovers from his injuries.
He hasn't looked too good early.
Well, they've
on.
been limiting him to 20 minutes.
Even in his minutes, though, he doesn't.
I don't think he looks terrible, but
But I don't think he looks like Wilson Chandler.
it's hard to say though in a limited time. That's what I'm saying. You have
Yeah.
to see like how his recovery goes. And
Gotta-
they still have JJ Redick, who's incredible. So
He got 20 shots last night. Like he was 11 for 20.
Yep.
The dude is what, 34 years old, 33, still putting up crazy numbers. Malik, what was the grades?
I give Philadelphia an A- because they just took another step towards getting to the finals. Although they got to make a lot of improvements to even think about beating Golden State.
I think I got to take Markelle Fultz out of the rotation to turn into a top 2 team. Markelle Fultz, I'm a fan, man.
I think we got to see how that turns out. But also Ben Simmons, you got to expand your offensive game. If you don't,
I don't think it's going to come this year, though.
probably not. But if he doesn't expand his offensive game, that team is never going to challenge Golden State.
that's where I think it helps that they have Jimmy Butler. They have somebody that is a known closer
Exactly.
on this team
A
now.
guy that can get his own shot.
Especially with the way that Joel Embiid has played so far this season, he's like on a mission.
He's playing on an MVP level.
So if you get a guy that comes in like Jimmy Butler that can be that for sure secondary scorer that can go get his buckets, that puts a little bit less pressure on Ben Simmons to have to score himself.
Yeah.
Whereas when you had Dario and Covington, they kind of were just like stretched out and Ben Simmons would have to make plays for them. Whereas Jimmy Butler can go make his own plays. So now you have 2 guys like that, and it just alleviates a little bit of pressure off Ben Simmons. But yeah, I agree. He definitely needs to improve something, at least get to a better mid-range shot even.
I think Philly is a really interesting team to watch, too, as we near the deadline, because they just made this deal for Jimmy Butler. Will they go all in on adding pieces around this team for this season to make that title push this year and just trade Markelle Fultz? Because they can get value this year for him. It just comes down to, are they that aggressive? I don't know. I don't know if they will give up on Fultz that quickly.
I think it's definitely an option.
But I'm not sure
Because-
if the front office wants to be like, just call it on the number 1 overall pick.
Oh yeah, that's why. Of course, it's nothing definite, but it's an option because you saw what having that many shooters did for them in the playoffs last year. Marco Bellinelli might have been one of the most important players.
First time Ilyasova,
They-
too.
Yeah, Ilyasova, but Bellinelli was lighting the heat up and hit a lot of clutch shots for them, 3-point shots. So besides JJ Redick, they do need to get a few more guys that can hit shots consistently for them from the 3-point line.
Do you
But-
guys consider Philly a title contender now? Right now?
No.
No.
Do they go for JR or Kyle Korver?
I think Kyle Korver is an option, but Kyle's had foot issues. He's
True.
been sitting out because of foot issues, and at his age, that's kind of a big deal. So that's why I don't think he's been moved yet. But I don't think they'd be that interested in JR, honestly.
I think the only title contender in the East right now is Boston. Philly, I think if Philly got to the finals, I don't think they'd contend. It'd be over fast.
I think Boston, if Boston gets to the finals, they actually can't contend.
I think
I
Toronto
agree with
needs
that.
to get out of the.
Toronto could be a contender.
Toronto depends on how Kyle Lowry plays in the playoffs because he's always
Yeah.
the question mark in the playoffs. He's looked super good so far this season.
Yeah.
But
The good thing is you don't have to worry about Kawhi and Danny.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They've been there.
Yep.
Serge is looking a lot better.
That's another thing too with Toronto. They might be a team that actually could win a championship.
Pascal
'cause
Siakam is making a huge.
NBA Player of the Week this past week. Shout out to Pascal.
He's been playing big.
Let's move on though. I'm sure we'll get Jimmy Butler's debut tomorrow night against Orlando, and we'll go from there. But some other surprising news. We touched on it earlier in the show. Carmelo Anthony expected to be released by the Houston Rockets. Reports from Mark Stein and other media outlets as ESPN, Adrian Wojnarowski, Shams Charania of Yahoo, or actually The Athletic now. How shocked are you by this early of a move by Houston? I was shocked. I was floored. I did not expect to see this now. Maybe near the deadline, sure, if it wasn't working out. But 12 games in, and they're already like, it's Melo. We got to move on.
These types of moves are weird to me because NBA management, they have quick triggers. And sometimes it's way too quick and it's just puzzling. Of course, Melo isn't what he used to be, and he's going to have up and down games, but you have to give a team time to mold and become a team because the Rockets lost some key pieces last season, or a key piece in Trevor Ariza. So they got to figure out a new way to win and be the team they were, or a new version of the team they were last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this doesn't make things any better, honestly. Really, they're going to be the same team without Melo that they were when he was there.
Joe?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. It doesn't really make sense to me. I don't think Carmelo's been any bit of the problem. I know he's been inconsistent this season, but James Harden's missed some games. Chris Paul missed some games from suspension. The Rockets have just been playing bad overall.
I think it partly is to do with their defense, and they're in talks now to bring back their defensive coach from last year. So that, I think, will play a factor in them actually getting back up to speed. Melo is just a scapegoat, I feel like, right now.
Yeah, and a lot of people always will be like, "Oh yeah, their defense is terrible. It's all because they signed Melo."
That makes no
there's,
sense.
There's a little bit to that.
I mean, to be
aspect.
fair, Melo and James aren't in the same.
Right,
lineup.
yeah.
That's bad
Of course it's, yeah. Of
Right,
course
that's
it
gonna
looks
be bad. But just in general, like it shouldn't matter that much at least. But just the whole team is playing bad, and they don't have a lot going for them. I don't see where they're gonna get more production from somebody, unless by some crazy chance they decided to play Gerald Green. I think he's still one of the guys that can like just go get buckets.
They're
But
supposed to be playing their rookie Gary Clark. Is supposed to be taking
and
this minutes.
they don't play Gerald Green, so it doesn't matter. So then they have, like I mentioned earlier, they have PJ Tucker playing 37 minutes a game. I know he's the defender guy, but really statistically, he's not really adding much to the team. He's not scoring a whole lot. He's not getting a lot of
He's
rebounds.
another year older too.
He doesn't pass a whole lot. He's not getting a lot of assists. He's just there as a sole defender. Clint Capella is kind of just, he's that run rim to rim kind of guy.
His field goal percentage is down this year too, which is playing a role.
James Harden is going to make the offense stagnant. He's going to hold the ball a lot.
Same with Chris Paul, honestly.
Chris Paul hasn't looked as good this year. So it's just trouble all around for
The
the
bad
Rockets.
thing is, without Clint Capella, they probably look 10 times worse.
Oh
if he
yeah, I
wasn't on
agree
the
with
team.
you. Yeah.
So yeah, they had to keep him, but he's not a real viable offensive option. So
Yeah, it's just when he's not making his close baskets, it's not going to help. Philly has been rumored to have interest in bringing in Melo, according to Amico Hoops. I'm not sure I buy that. They say the Lakers are not interested, but I think that's a dark horse team to look at for that LeBron connection. What do you guys think? I mean, if Melo gets waived, I'm not sure he clears waivers because he's only signed to a vet minimum deal, so the team only picks up that vet minimum deal, not the big $30 million buyout he got from Atlanta. So let's just say he does clear waivers. Where do you guys think Melo goes?
A spot that I've liked to see him in the past few years, even though it might not lead to a championship. I think he'd be good. It'd be a good look for him in Portland.
He wanted to go, or there were some rumors that Dame and CJ wanted him in Portland.
Yeah,
little
they've
bit.
always lacked the small forward. They went and signed Evan Turner to a big contract for that.
That was a
and
while ago, though. What was
yeah,
that, like 2-3 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago. That didn't really work out.
No.
Alfred Aminu improved his 3-point percentage.
Al's
But
been playing better this year.
yeah, he's a 3-and-D guy. He's not a guy that's going to get buckets. Mo Harkless isn't really a guy that's going to get buckets. He's another.
I like that call, though, with
defensive-
Portland. I think that's
Yeah.
that's a team to look for, too.
I think if they added Carmelo and Carmelo could play more consistent basketball in terms of just putting the ball in the bucket.
It would be nice to have a little bit more buzz in the Rose City, too. I mean, you
Yeah.
got Damian, CJ, Nurkic is playing well. Put Carmelo there, too. I mean, first of all, you're going to sell more tickets. You're going to sell more merchandise. It's a good business decision.
Yeah, there's no bad in it, really.
I
when you
mean,
look at it.
you never know because this is the second team for Melo that's kind of dipped on him. You don't know if this is a chemistry issue, if he's just not meshing with his team. So there is some negatives of bringing him into your locker room if that's going to affect it negatively. But from a play on the court wise, yeah, there's really not many negatives there.
And now that we see he'll come off the bench, so
Maybe. You never know. I mean, once you get to a new team, you never know.
I think at this point with with OKC going how it went and
But Melo's-
this Houston situation, if Melo is still bullheaded like that, it would be a real surprise to me. It'd be.
I mean, Allen
surprise.
Iverson was still like that, and he went from Detroit to Memphis.
That's a different
back to
situation.
Philly. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I
was a
think
different
there are
person.
guys though that have it ingrained in their mind, and they've said it before, where Melo, he's a little bit almost scared to where what will
my
all-
people think
what
about?
will my guys
Yeah.
tell me when I'm coming off the bench,
Yep.
and all these guys that have been so like big fans of him for so long. It's just a different mentality. There's not a lot of players that go through that starting their entire lives, and then you go to a team and you're like, okay, you got to come off the bench. Like, that's a hard thing to take. That's a hard thing to grasp. And I think he's just struggling with it a lot. So I think there's teams that will start him, even if there's been troubles. I think there are plenty of teams that would love to have a guy like Melo start for them, even if he's not as good as he's been in the past, obviously.
Yeah. Joe, do you have a team that you think he's going to go to?
I think Miami, that's like one of the rumored places that him to go. To me, it makes the most sense just because Miami doesn't have necessarily like a pure scorer on their team, and it would allow Melo to maybe be freed up a little bit more, whereas all these other teams are trying to mold him into something that he's not, and I don't think he possibly can even do. Originally, I thought maybe he could become a spot-up shooter, but he's just something in it. It's not working out. So I think Miami would be a spot where he could actually be a little more himself.
ISO Melo.
Yeah. A fun one would be Denver, but I don't see that happening.
It would be fun for Denver or New York. I think would be
Yeah.
really fun to see.
I think New York. I don't know how they'd react to that.
Yeah, I don't
honestly.
know.
I
That'd
think
be
Denver would be cool because they're like a contender this year.
Yeah.
Playoff team at least.
That would be really cool. I'm gonna stick with Philly as my prediction for where he goes, because a lot of rumblings kind of are pointing in that direction. But we'll see. Melo still is not officially waived. He's been away from the team. They say due to an illness, but like we've seen with these reports, it doesn't seem to be the case.
And I would assume almost any team will be looking at Melo because like that
You
price,
ha-
like
you-
we said, the price tag.
Yeah,
It's
huge.
like a low risk, high reward kind of deal.
Exactly.
That if somehow you happen to get Melo to gel again,
And every team has to have this conversation. Like when Melo is on waivers, you have to have that conversation as a front office. Like that's an option to bring in to help our perimeter depth. A team that I think would be hilarious if he goes to Golden State. Everyone would be up in arms. Like, first of all, you're just talking all this smack about Carmelo. He goes to Golden State, but now you're gonna get upset about it.
yeah, it's gonna be the same thing where he's gonna be like DeMarcus Cousins,
Yeah.
and everybody's like
hilarious.
exiling Melo, and Melo is like, "Hey KD, hey Steph, you guys wanna? Would you guys let me play?" And then he just goes there to just go win a championship,
Yeah.
just like a big screw all you guys. That'd be funny.
I think it'd be hilarious. I think that'd be a really interesting thing to see. But we'll see. Next week, we'll probably have more clarity when it comes to this. We got to touch on a little bit of the Pistons. We got a little bit of time left in the show. They stand at 6-6 right now through 12 games. they look like Blake's getting a little tired, and that's not good when their whole team is Blake Griffin.
Blake or bust.
Blake Ball, yeah.
How concerned are you about this team? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned. Like they're just gonna lose the rest of the games. They're gonna just bottom out.
A 6.
Yeah.
I'm
you weren't.
I'm
high on
like
this team
starting.
anyways.
I'm starting to get concerned. Like at the beginning of the year, again, they looked like they looked good. They looked real deal. And now that Blake's had some games where he's been struggling, makes me a little bit nervous.
His 3 ball's not falling anymore, which is huge.
Yeah, I think the one good sign is that Reggie Bullock has looked back to being good these last couple games.
Langston's look good.
So I think if the Pistons' depth can come back, then I'll be a little bit alleviated. But
They need a
Right.
star guard.
right now, the whole Blake thing it's rough, and
mean-
it's scary, especially playing Toronto tomorrow.
That's a loss.
So-
I'll put a permanent marker on that. That's a loss.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
They need some backcourt help big time. I mean, you have a really good front court, but they have no backcourt depth.
Luke is hurt.
Luke's hurt. Reggie Bullock was struggling for a period of time. They just need a star guard. They need a John Wall. They need a Bradley Beal. Someone like that. They could make it happen. But Malik, how concerned are you about this team?
I'm at a 7.
You're at a 7?
I'm concerned. This season is going to be Blake Ball. I don't see how much that's going to change because you can only expect so much from what's around him. You got Reggie Bullock and Langston Galloway are spot up shooters.
Those are the only 2 guys that are hitting shots right now, too.
Ish comes in. Ish does what he does. I'll always enjoy watching him play for the team.
But he is a backup point guard.
He's
not
a
starter.
backup point guard. Reggie Jackson, man. At this point, you just take what you get from Reggie. He's gonna look really good at times.
And he's going to look really bad at times.
Yeah, he's gonna want to be Superman at times. Andre, he's gonna get his rebounds and he's gonna get his numbers, but it really won't lead to many wins.
Did you guys see the crazy stat about Andre?
What?
He had his 5th 2020 game against Charlotte, and he is the first player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Milwaukee, when he was playing in Milwaukee, to have 5 2020 games in their first 12 games.
He's that physically talented.
Andre as good as Kareem.
No, Joe.
The debate begins.
I can't even.
I'm telling you,
back that up.
it's the way that the game is played nowadays.
But Andre
He's a great rebounder.
There's
I'm
more-
not taking that away
There's
from
more
him.
There's more possessions.
Right.
that plays.
he's
right
always
team.
had that physical and athletic talent to where rebounds are nothing to him.
He has a really uncanny timing when it comes to going for the ball off the
Yeah.
glass too. Which I will say this: he might not be the best rebounder of all time. He is the best offensive rebounder of all time. I'll give him that
Of all time.
of all time.
I gotta
Offensive
look at numbers
rebounder.
on that.
Wait a
one.
minute, what?
I
The
gotta
best
look at the
offensive
numbers on
rebounder
that
of all
one.
time.
I gotta
when
look
his
at the
when
numbers.
his
I feel like
career's
that's
over,
not-
when his career's over, he will go down as the greatest offensive rebounder.
When
of
his
all time.
career is over.
Even
okay.
right now, I think he is still the best offensive rebounder of all time. Look it up. Go look some highlights. Go look at some stats. There's stats that'll probably back me up a little bit there. But
Did Wilt Chamberlain get a lot of offensive rebounds when he averaged like 40
Wilt-
rebounds?
Wilt was playing against Wilt was playing against 5'10" dudes.
It counts. It counts. Bill Russell counts.
I mean, Wilt did have a 55 rebound game. That's
Kevin-
insane.
Dennis Rodman still counts. He is
Andre-
a walking rebound.
I think Andre is a better offensive rebounder than Dennis.
Kevin Love in Minnesota was a pretty good offensive rebounder.
I still go Andre. But
Debate for another time.
exactly. I mean, Malik, I know I'm talking a big game here, but you gotta look at the stats. Just go look at it, do some own research.
I'll look
do
into
some
it.
research,
And we'll
and
talk
then,
about this next week.
yeah, I was gonna say next week you can just give me a lot of crap. if it's
We'll
bad.
talk about this.
Do you guys think the Pistons need to make a move, or will they make a move?
They have to.
Do you think they will though? Like, regardless if they have to or not, do you think that front office will actually make a move mid-season?
No.
Okay.
They are just going to continue to stay afloat.
Yeah.
And
So you think the new regime is going to wait until this summer to maybe do some changing up of the roster?
honestly, they probably will, but the Pistons, in terms of free agency, the Pistons don't really attract anything.
They can't. Well, first of all, they don't have the money to attract anything.
Well, there's that.
The only way you can
Yeah.
get a star is via trade, and you don't really have many assets when it comes to that either. You need a jump on a guy that a team doesn't want. The only reason I bring up John Wall is because his supermax doesn't kick in until next season when he's going to get paid. So it's 5 years, about $170 million. With how he's playing and with how that team is going, Washington does not want to honor that contract. So if you can somehow just double down on just paying just a huge amount of money to the tax, I would be interested in bringing in John Wall. I think that would be a good move if you are going to double down with not rebuilding. I think rebuilding is the best case scenario, which is not going to happen under Gorse's watch. But if you're gonna pay this much money, might as well go all in.
By midseason, I'm hoping Dwayne Casey becomes the star of the organization. And
Well, I think he already is.
And his coaching really starts to take hold, and they start playing much better team basketball instead of Blake ball.
Yeah.
That really has to be the difference. Dwayne Casey.
You can win some games with Blake Ball. You can't win every game with Blake Ball.
He's one of the best coaches in the NBA. Hopefully he starts showing it.
Yeah.
By the time we get around there.
Joe, do you think they're going to make a move at all?
I hope so.
But you don't think so.
I don't know if they're going to, though. I feel like it's going to be too hard to make a move, and there are going to be other teams that will be able to make better offers for players like John Wall and Bradley Beal. And the Pistons will have all these secondary offers that are nowhere near as good. They're not as impactful players. So I think the Pistons will just sit, unfortunately. But I would like them to. I would like them to get aggressive.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, that's our show for the week, guys. I mean, not a lot of positive talk here, and that's a bummer. We're gonna have to switch that up next week.
Man.
We're gonna bring all the positivities about the Lions.
The winter is here. It's cold.
It's snowing.
It's tough.
Michigan State, and Oakland all won their basketball games this week.
We might just go college basketball
That'll change
next week.
soon, but
We might just have to do it.
It'll change soon.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Jimmer scored 75 for China. Bye.